Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube storytelling channel. My name is Catherine for those of you who don't know me, and I tell true life stories. Now this one again is from the Gulf. This one is from the Gulf again. Can you imagine, for us Africans or whoever, imagine your hair is plaited, you know those lines? And then immediately after the hair has been plaited, a few hours later, you start feeling itchy. Of course, when there is something foreign in your hair or on your scalp, it will be itchy. So, this happened to one lady called Precious, whose hair had been done by her best friend, Fumi. Fumi and Precious were very good friends and they wouldn't leave each other. They were like shadows. They came from the same country and came to the Gulf, were hired on the same day in the same company. So they were always together, fighting for each other. And since Fumi was very good in making hair, and making hair in the Gulf is very expensive, she used to do the hair for Precious, her precious friend. So as the months went by, things seemed to be different. The last time that she ever made Precious hair, it was so itchy. Not just itchy, but itchy and bleeding. So Precious had to remove the hair immediately. And guess what she found? Not lice, not dandruff, but broken pieces of razor. Broken pieces of razor between her plates. Can you imagine? How did they get there? The last person who tied her hair was none other than Fumi, her best friend. Now you might wonder, how could this be? Let us go to the root of the story. How all this envy, jealousy began. Precious knew that Fumi is her best friend and could not suspect her of anything, any malice. And so she really trusted her. Even though her friends, other friends of Precious, will tell her that there's something not so right about this friendship of theirs, because Fumi will talk behind Precious back to the other people and the other people will tell her. But Precious will think that these are all fabricated lies. So this is where it all began. Fumi had a boyfriend called Fidel, and Precious had a boyfriend called Prince, two P's, I know you know where these names are from. Excuse me. So these two used to meet at Fidel's house, because Fidel, the let's call him fiancé of Fumi, was working in a very big company, and he had a very good title. So he had his own house, like in the Gulf, if you have a very good job, you will be given house allowance and you can get the house of your choice. But Prince, the boyfriend of Precious, also had a good job, but was staying in a company that is very restricted. You cannot receive guests as long as you're staying in the company's compound. And since Prince was very frugal with his savings, he opted to stay in the company's accommodation rather than rent his own house outside, which was also convenient because it was in the same compound as his workplace. That meant that no visitors for him, and that's why they were meeting, all of them, in Fidel's house. Fidel happened to be friends with Prince as well. What a coincidence. So the two ladies were friends and the two guys were friends, and the only place they could meet was Fidel's, Fumi's fiance's house. They will party, make merry, get drunk. But then, as the days went by, Fidel called Prince at one point and told him, you know what? I think you and your girlfriend should start meeting elsewhere because I'm not comforting my girlfriend. My fiance is not comfortable with your girlfriend hanging around here because she thinks that I am flirting with her. Fidel told Prince. So Fumi was thinking that Precious is flirting with her fiance is flirting with the girlfriend of Prince, which was in her imagination. I don't know, it's called schizophrenia or something. You imagine things until you start seeing them. So she had decided that either she stops coming to Fidel's house or she makes sure that Prince and Precious don't meet in his house. That made it very uncomfortable because Prince and Fidel were very close friends, and Prince will come out of the very farthest end of the town and come and now unwind in this free place where there was no restriction in Fidel's house. And here now he was being restricted by the so-called fiancé because of insecurities. So Fidel said, cool, that's the case. Then I think if I want to see you, I'll just be coming alone. I don't come with my boyfriend if that's what your girlfriend is suspecting. So he had to start spending money outside in cinemas, in restaurants, which was really inconveniencing him because he did not have a car, and getting to these places meant you have to walk in the heat in the Gulf is not a joke. On the other hand, Fidel had a car, and the fiancé was really enjoying now the luxuries because none of them was around. At work, Fumi will keep on calling Fidel not less than half an hour gap just to make sure he's not messing around with anyone. And things were getting so hot on Fidel, like he felt like he was now so much in prison. Every time your fiancé calls you, you haven't even married her. And even if you've married her, why should she keep calling you? Every 30 minutes, she would look for any free company phone and call him. As she must have begun using the company phone because he was beginning to ignore her calls from the mobile because he knows her number, but the company number, he did not know it, so she will move from one intercom to another so that he picks just to make sure he is alone, which was now began stressing Fidel, and he told his friend Prince about it. He had to look for a way out. He felt like, you're trapped. No freedom completely. Your girlfriend is on your case. In fact, she made a point of moving into Fidel's house without Fidel asking her to, so that she can have a close watch over him. So Fidel will have to sacrifice his time, drop her to work, come back and pick her to work. They were literally cohabiting. So, on the other hand, Precious had been thrown out because Fumi was complaining that Precious is dressing seductively when she's in the house. So Fidel is getting disrupted, and so she did not want her there completely. So this was causing enmity between Fumi and Precious. And now Precious had reached, Fumi had reached a level that she was even trying to get rid of Precious, which is very dangerous in the Gulf. One day, this lady, Precious, was going out with one of her friends from the workplace. It's an African lady also. She was new, and Precious asked her to escort her out to the bus stop to wait for an Uber to drop her somewhere. That day, Fidel had a very big quarrel with Fumi. Fumi called Fidel and asked her, wait a minute. It had reached a point that Fidel had told Fumi that he needs some space because things were getting so hot. So he asked her not to come so oftenly. Just don't stay with him anymore. Go back to her accommodation. And when he wants to see her, he will call her. Things had gotten that bad because rumor had it that she had even become violent and was beating up Fidel. Imagine a woman beating up a guy. Because Fumi had such a huge physique and Fidel was a little bit short and plump. So being beaten was not hard. I mean, you know. So she had been given some space, not broken up, but just some space. So Precious was being watched. One time Precious was going out with her other friend, an African friend, and you know where she was going? She was actually going to Fidel's house. Not alone, but of course with Prince, her boyfriend. Because now Fidel wanted some, he needed people to talk to, and Prince was his only close friend. But still, he didn't want this fiancé of his to be around for some time, at least to give him space. But he was open to other people. So when Precious reached Fidel's house with her boyfriend, she noticed that Fidel was not looking so happy. So she asked Prince, what's going on? Is he still doesn't want to see me still? I shouldn't be around here still? And Prince told her, wait, I'll tell you. The reason why he's annoyed is that before you reach here, she had screamed at she had screamed at Fidel that he is being brought for another lady by Precious. Precious was so shocked. Precious was so shocked because she didn't know that Fumi is watching her every move, when she's leaving, when she's coming out or coming back. They were not even in the same room. But she was watching her through the window, and she saw her going with this African friend of hers who was basically going to the shops, and Precious happened to be going to get an Uber, so they went along together. In her head, Precious is taking this other African lady to meet Fidel, and that's why Fidel had put her away. She screamed at Fidel that night, and she ordered Fidel to bring her to his home, or else things are gonna be bad. Fidel still hadn't made up his mind about her, so he said, okay, you come over, for the sake of Precious, but she didn't know what is going to happen to Precious. Precious was not actually going around bringing any woman to Fidel. She was just going to meet Prince in the house. So fine, he said, okay, I'll bring you over. I think that was the last she ever stepped in the house, because after that she was again given a break. She was given space again. And after a few months of the space, of course, she was stalking him on Facebook. And guess what she saw? Can you guess what she saw when she opened her Facebook while still in the process of stalking him to see who is commenting on his pictures, which lady said, oh, you look good, so that she attacks. Guess what she saw on Fidel's profile picture? Fidel in a wedding suit with another woman in a wedding gown, posing like this. The woman's head was on Fidel's shoulder. They had gotten married during that gap. So Fumi had been dumped, and she only saw it in the Facebook status of Fidel. His new status was married to Angela. Fidel married to Angela. Then she clicked on Angela's profile. Angela married to Fidel. And she went through the pictures. Yes, there had been a wedding. There had been a wedding. Precious really had a good laugh when she saw this, because she knew that this lady is trying to stop her from meeting her boyfriend or just being near her fiance. Yet there was another woman he was seeing that this Fumi did not know. Fumi went berserk and she kept on singing. She went into depression generally, and she began singing all the time at work. Her work went low, her performance dropped, and she kept on singing this song. You will come back to me. You will come back to me. You will come back to me. As in, she was still dreaming that Fidel will leave his legally married wife and come back to his once former girlfriend. You will come back to me. You will come back to me. You will come back to me. You will meet her in the corridor. You will come back to me. You will come back to me. You will come back to me. I'm not sure whether she's singing that song 5 years later or she stopped. You will come back to me. So if you like my content, share, like, and subscribe. Ciao.